Hello, and welcome to Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation with me, your host, Jerri Banks. I am so excited to be here. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday yesterday. Happy 4th of July to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, welcome. This is Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation with me, Jerri Banks. On this show, we talk about automation and autonomy being self-driving trucks entering into the industry, new technology, and artificial intelligence. Things are changing. There's an entire shift that's happening right before our eyes. And I want to share this. I want to help to prepare you so that you can be ready, so that you're not left behind in what's to come. In addition, we talk about traditional truck driving jobs. You've got your traditional jobs that I periodically talk about and share, but I also share jobs on the autonomy sector, jobs in the self driving trucking sector, so that you can see one, what's out there, and two, the qualifications that a lot of these companies are asking for and how you can prepare. And then lastly, on the learning lane, I share actionable tips and things that you can put in your toolbox right now and start using to help you reskill and upskill for the new future that our industry is moving into. Um, Again, thank you so much for being here. We're on episode 33. I created the show because I was constantly talking to my five boys. Who are all in aviation in some form or fashion, whether it is trucking, I have a truck driver, whether it is supply chain and logistics, warehouse, I have one that works in the warehouse. I have two actually that are in aviation. And so my boys are across all different spectrums of the trucking and transportation industry. And I would always talk, for example, my truck driver, I would tell him, look, if you're driving the truck, I need you to also learn how to repair the truck. So I need you to get your diesel technician certification. And then my son, who's in warehouse and logistics, I would tell him and still tell him today, if you are working in the warehouse and he's on the leadership team there, look, you also need to learn how to utilize the software that they are working on. There's software that these warehouses use from an inventory perspective, from a picking perspective. You need to learn, and it's a lot of these warehouses use SAP. So you need to get SAP certified. SAP is a software that is out there. And so the teaching and sharing this information with them, I was like, you know what? If my boys need this information, if I'm talking to them about this information, so many others out there need to hear and learn about this exact same information that I'm sharing. And so I share the news, I share what's going on, I share again actionable tips. And so if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you are connected with me across all of my platforms. My amazing producer Sarah, she has them right over here in the corner. Subscribe and follow me across all of my platforms. You're going to learn that I do a lot of sharing information, tips, and tools on the transportation, as in the trucking side, because I consider myself an expert on the FMCSA side, but also I have over 22 years on the aviation side. And so I do share a lot of tips and tools and information on the aviation side as well. So you never know what industry or what field you want to transition into. So that's why I do share that information, because I have the knowledge and the expertise across both of these fields. So again, make sure you're connected with me across all of my platforms. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about a smart freight corridor. If you're in Texas, if you're in Michigan, you need to stick around. You need to know about what's happening in your state. We'll be right back. I'm Jerri Banks. Our agency focuses on driver recruitment and driver education. we focus on helping drivers and preparing them for the future of trucking and transportation as autonomous vehicles and automation enters the industry. Our goal is to ensure that you are equipped with the skills that you need to be successful in this new way of life. So make sure you connect with me across all of my platforms. Jerri Banks, Autonomous Trucking. I look forward to connecting with you. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Look, I want to say hello to all of my friends on TikTok. Look, they get to see the behind the scenes, me drinking water, me talking to my producer, going back and forth in between the segments. So, hello, TikTok. There's so many on checking out. They're always here. And they know that I'm live on TikTok every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so they can see the behind the scenes. They're the ones that want to go over and see the behind the scenes. But again, make sure you're subscribed, and let's get right into the show. Today, I want to share, and I'm going to start with Texas. So there's a smart freight corridor in the state of Texas, and it is near Austin, Texas, on Interstate I-30, or State Highway I-30 is what it is. It's a smaller highway, but what this is, it is it's a company called CAVU, and CAVU has created and added these sensors essentially to the corridor. And so basically, they're testing it. And as these autonomous trucks drive along the smart freight corridor, is what it is, they will get notifications of what's ahead. It'll be able to talk. The sensors lined up along the roadways will be able to talk to the self-driving trucks. And so the technology, we're seeing it increase. The technology, we're seeing it increase. So they've added special utility poles, and this article is courtesy of Fox 7. I believe they're out of Austin, and it was from May. But I'm sharing this one with you because I'm going to share one that's happening in Michigan as well. And so I want you to see that it's already been done. There's one happening in Michigan now, but there's already been one that's been put up in the state of Texas. So CAVU is a Washington-based transportation tech firm, and what they've done is they put up these utility poles. They have these sensors. They have these the trucks have sensors, and then they've added sensors to the utility poles so that those sensors can talk to the actual trucks. And so there's roadway debris, there's vehicles weaving in and out, there's stalled vehicles. And so on this roadway, it's going to communicate with the autonomous truck, the self-driving truck, and let it know that, hey, there's debris up ahead. There's a broke down vehicle up ahead. And so they're working and partnering with with Texas Department of Transportation to release this. Now we're just seeing this in Texas on I think it's like a 35-mile stretch of State Highway 130, but we're going to see more and more of these smart freight corridors be added and entered into our transportation infrastructure. Again, it's something that you need to know about. And I want to share a video because the next one that I'm going to be talking about is in Michigan. And this one is, there's a video associated with this one that I definitely want to share with you. But it is, let's see if I can get this video pulled up here. All right, so it's Michigan, and they're building the nation's first smart highway. I don't think it's the first, but I mean it's the same company, so it doesn't matter. But this video is the Texas one. So let me go ahead and share the Texas video, and I think you'll find it very interesting. Let's see if I can make it bigger for you. Yeah, so Smart Freight Corridor expected to be online by spring of 2025. I want to hear your thoughts. There were quite a few people that were sharing their information, and I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts about um, sorry. I want to hear your thoughts about what you think about the smart freight corridor. These connected and automated vehicles, having sensors and packages to be able to communicate with them and let them know that there's roadway debris ahead. Let them know that there's pavement issues ahead. Let them know that there's a broke down car ahead. And so that is the super sensor that's being done by CAVU, and it's a Washington-based company. But they also are doing this exact same thing in Michigan as well. And so they're doing a 3-mile stretch of interstate on Interstate 94. It's going to be converted into America's first smart highway. And this article is brought to us by Engadget. And let me go ahead and pull this article up for you as well so you can take a look at this one. But again, I'll drop the links to both of these articles so that you can go and do your own research yourself. I encourage that. I implore that. Go learn about it. Go see what is out there. Go see, get out of your box, get out of the box and go see what's going on in your industry. And then as you're seeing it, be the individual that takes the initiative, be the individual that takes the initiative to go learn about it and to go seek out ways and opportunities that you can tap into this market. Seek out ways and opportunities that what you need to learn from an educational perspective to be able to work for some of these companies. Because especially if you are a driver, if you are a truck driver, you are so valuable. You are valuable to the engineers of these companies because they need your expertise. They need your knowledge. So it's important that you start now to acquire the skills that are needed to be able to be that advisor, to be able to be that strategic support that they need because they've never driven a truck, because they've never been in a truck. And so those types of having that type of skill set, getting those types of certifications that only separates you from everyone else. And so, again, this article is brought to us by Engadget. Engadget talks about Michigan building the first smart highway, the nation's very first smart highway. And so basically, it's a pilot project. And it's again on a 3-mile stretch of I-94 in Michigan, and it's being transformed into this smart highway. And so it projects to improve the traffic flow, and it's going to be using sensors and cameras and AI to talk to the actual trucks. And so the goal of the smart highway is to use this network of sensors and cameras to monitor the traffic conditions and the traffic flows, and that data is going to be analyzed by artificial intelligence to identify potential problems like or accidents and traffic congestion and obstacles that are happening. And by providing this like real time information, these real time alerts to drivers and transportation authorities, they're aiming to reduce traffic jams, prevent accidents, improve emergency response times. And so again, it's that connected and automated vehicle that is going to be able to talk to the technology that's on these highways. Someone needs to build this technology. Someone needs to analyze that data. Someone needs to be able to tell the story that that data is presenting. So I encourage you to look into data analytics. Data analytics. I encourage you to look into that. I encourage you to look into and learn more about artificial intelligence. Back in January or December of this past year, I took a artificial intelligence certification. I am certified in understanding and knowing all about artificial intelligence and how it works. It wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult. It was a free certification to be able to just tap into the basics. It was an introduction to be able to tap into the basics of artificial intelligence and deep learning and neural networks and all of those things, what they mean. And I encourage my sons to take that same course because you're going to need to know and have a basic understanding of these types of things, especially if you're staying in working in the transportation industry, because of the connected and automated vehicles, because of the self-driving trucks. And on this show, I don't think I've ever talked about Tesla self-driving trucks, because there's so many more out there than Tesla. But Tesla, it's the glamorous one. It's the one that everybody knows. But we've got Kodiak, we've got Aurora, we've got Torc, we've got Waymo, we've got Gatik. Those are the top 5 self-driving technology companies. And if you check the show out from Wednesday earlier this week, I broke down each one of those, at least the top 3. And I'm going to be talking about here in just a second, sharing another article about 2 of the top ones. And so I think it's so important that you are aware, you are abreast of what's going on in your industry, and not surprised when you see an autonomous truck with all the sensors and the LiDAR and all those things, swirling around it as it's driving next to you. So I want to recognize our comment. We have a comment from S. Ross. S. Ross says, wow, that's outstanding. He's talking, I'm sure, about the video of CAVU and the smart freight corridor and the smart freight network. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that. But again, these are all things that you need to know. You need to sign up for industry newsletters. You need to register to attend some of these webinars. There's a webinar, and I'll drop the link here in just a second. There's a webinar coming up, and I'll put it in the comments. But Torc Robotics, I think they're closing the registration list very soon. But I want you to register and attend that webinar. Their VP of Product Safety is going to be talking about what they're doing to validate the autonomy. And autonomy, it's the same as saying self-driving. So I think some people get confused when I say autonomy, but it's the exact same thing as saying self-driving. But on Wednesday, July 17th, they're going to be doing a webinar, and they're hosting a webinar. It's not one where you can talk. It's one where you can attend and where you can listen. But they're going to be exploring autonomous trucking use cases, what they're doing from a safety perspective. They're going to be talking about some of the things that their company is doing. Their roadmap is 2027. I just dropped the comment of the registration to the webinar right there. So make sure that you go register. My producer Sarah has shared the webinar information, but they're going to be sharing. And I attended one of their webinars a few months ago, and it was informative. It was good, very informational. But I want to continue attending these webinars. I want to continue learning more about what is going on in my industry. So again, I can come and share it with you, but also so that you can learn more about what's happening. So yeah, we've got the smart freight corridor in Texas, and we've got the smart highway. It's the first smart highway in Michigan. And this is the beginning of what's to come. We're going to see more and more of these smart highways and smart freight corridors. We're going to see more and more of them roll out over the next few years as we have more self-driving vehicles, autonomous vehicles, connected and automated vehicles. I just said the same thing. All 3 of those are exactly the same thing. These vehicles are connected, they're automated, they're self-driving, they're autonomous. So it's time for you to start learning about these, the information, but it's also time for you to start preparing from an educational perspective of what's to come. When we come back, I'm going to be sharing an article called Advancing Autonomous Trucking, Kodiak Robotics and Aurora Innovation, and how they are in Lancaster, Texas, and what they're doing in the state of Texas to propel autonomous trucking. Again, I'll be talking about when we come back, I'll be right back.
When it comes to autonomous trucks entering the trucking and transportation industry, up until now, you've only heard bits and pieces, news here, news there. There's been no centralized place for you to learn about autonomous trucks. Join me every Wednesday and Thursday and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time as I share information, news, and education on how you can stay prepared for autonomous trucks and autonomy entering the trucking and transportation industry.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, if you're new here, welcome. I am your host, Jerri Banks, and I'm here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I talk about the future of trucking and transportation. And I help you navigate the road ahead, navigate it from a knowledge perspective, but also navigate it from an educational perspective, sharing tips and tools and educational opportunities that you can use to be able to prepare and equip yourself with the tools that you need to be successful and the tools that you need to set yourself apart from everyone else, everyone that's not here. Everyone that's not learning, everyone that's not taking this seriously, everyone that's not taking the initiative. And again, why I started this show because of my five sons. My five sons are all in trucking or transportation, aviation, warehouse, and supply chain. And so I found myself continuously talking to them about the level up, right? About getting better, about learning new things, about learning new tools, about adding new credentials and new certifications to their toolbox. Well, of course, they're my sons, so they're gonna listen, but they're also gonna kind of push back, and they're also gonna say, "Oh, this isn't happening. Oh, it's not gonna happen as fast as you're saying it's gonna happen," and I'm telling them it's already here. It's not a it's not a if or a when, it's an already here. And so the important thing is to equip yourself. The important thing is to prepare yourself. And so I said, if I'm sharing this with my sons, there's others out there that need to hear this same information. They need to understand the work that's being put in and need to see the research that I've done in order to learn and be able to not only equip my sons, but equip you as well for this new future that our industry is shifting into. And that's what I call it. I call it a shift. So if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you are tapped in with me across all of my platforms. You're going to find me on TikTok sharing information. You're going to find me on Instagram talking about aviation. You're going to find me on LinkedIn talking to the leaders on how to prepare their transportation workforce. You're going to find me here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So make sure you're tapped in. I want to share with you the article, and this article is brought to us by Smart City Consultant. Smart City Consultant is the writer of this article, and it's called Advancing Autonomous Trucks, Autonomous Trucking, Kodiak Robotics, and Aurora Innovation, and how they are in Lancaster, Texas. So Lancaster, Texas is up near Dallas, and they are advancing autonomous trucking technology. Their goal is to remove the safety driver on public roads in Texas by the end of this year, by the end of 2024. That is their goal. That is what they announced in early January at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. They announced that they were going to be removing the safety driver, that they are ready to remove the safety driver. And by the end of this year. So we're looking to see, how that works. Their goal, I know Kodiak's goal is to remove that safety driver on the lane between Houston and Dallas. That is a significant and bold prediction, and I'm ready to learn more about it. I'm ready to see it. And so Kodiak emphasizes defensive and cautious driving with its next gen trucks, and Aurora showcases its capabilities in different weather conditions. And Aurora, their model is both of their models are a little bit different. Kodiak works with not just autonomous, they both have software. They both have software that they integrate and incorporate into these vehicles, these connected vehicles. And so Kodiak has integrated its software in semi trucks and in military trucks, military equipment, military, they work very closely with the Department of Defense. Also in passenger trucks and civilian trucks as well. That's where their technology, their software is integrated in and works well in. Now, Aurora has their technology integrated into um, passenger cars as well as semi trucks. So they both do a little bit different things, but there is essentially the same thing. And so they are sharing the progress of what they've been doing. And so I'll share the link to this article so that you can take a look at it. They've been doing real world testing. They've been having safety drivers in the truck. Again, their goal is to pull that safety driver out of the truck. But both companies have advanced sensors that they use, like LIDAR. LIDAR stands for light detection, for hazardous detection. They both have the cautious driving behaviors like slowing down, merging carefully. And again, this is the shift. This is the change. And they're working closely with first responders. They're working closely with the DPS in the state of Texas to be able to incorporate these on the highway. Again, my role here isn't to dispute or deny that it's here or deny that it's coming. My role is to share this information with you so that you can be prepared, so that you can get ready from an educational perspective, because there's certifications that you can get, there's degrees that you can get. If you don't have you're needed from a research perspective, you're needed from an advisor perspective. There's opportunities where you can be an advisor. A lot of these companies, if you go to their websites, they are looking for drivers. They're looking for drivers. In the next segment, I'm going to talk about an opportunity for potentially one of the self-driving companies where they're looking for a driver. But I don't typically like to talk about um, the actual job. I may, talk about the job a little bit, but more so, I like to talk and share what the skills are that they're looking for in their operations team, in their operations department, because those skills are different than what you're accustomed to. Those skills are different. A lot of their work is typically local. It's typically shift work, and it's typically overtime paid, getting paid, think for things that you currently as a driver don't get paid for right now. And so in the next segment, again, I'll talk about an opportunity in that with one of these companies. But yeah, so this is again an article that I will definitely share in the link in the description box so that you can take a look at it, learn about it. Now let's talk about their lanes and where they're operating on. Currently, they're both operating between Houston and Dallas. They're both operating their self-driving semi truck delivering freight between Houston and Dallas. Aurora between Dallas and El Paso. They're going down to Central Texas, like San Antonio, Austin area, as well as I know Kodiak is operating between Dallas and Atlanta, Georgia. Again, all of these with a safety operator in them. Um, they currently have a safety operator in them. The goal is to remove the safety operator by the end of 2024. I don't know that will happen. We're not there yet, but we will see. Um, but the information is out there. Their websites are out there where you can go and you can learn and you can do the research on your own. Again, I'll share the link to this article in the description box so you can take a look at it. Now let's move right on to the next section, the next segment of the show. But before we do, I want to make sure that if you have not already downloaded my ebook, make sure that you download it. This ebook, it is the foundation for you to understand about the future of transportation and how autonomy and artificial intelligence and self-driving trucks, the role that they play. I think it's important that you know that. And so it highlights some of the key companies, some of the ones that I'm talking about today. It highlights that. It highlights what they're doing, the lanes that they're running on. There's a company in Dallas, Gatik, Gatik AI. Gatik AI is currently running in Dallas, and they are delivering on that middle mile. They own the middle mile. That is their tagline. They own the middle mile, and Gatik is uh, really has some great partnerships. They're um, pushing out some new partnerships and new opportunities that they've tapped into, and they're growing. So they're currently working with Kroger and Walmart and Loblaws and delivering to their distribution center. Um, Again, currently all of them, for the most part, have a safety driver in them. All of the semis and box trucks, because Gatik is box trucks, have a safety driver in them at this moment. And I want to talk about the role of the safety driver and that title, not necessarily the role, but that title, because your current title is truck driver. But as we see more and more of the self-driving technology entering into the industry, we're going to see that title shift, because I'm hearing human operator, I'm hearing safety operator, I'm hearing pilot. That title is shifting. And so you want to ensure that the money doesn't shift with that title. Again, let me say that again. You want to ensure that your salary does not decrease with that title. And so the only way that that salary won't decrease is if your education increases. If your education increases, then your salary increases. That's just the given. So as you go and you learn more, and as you go and you share more that you've learned, and in the learning lane, I'm going to talk about how you can share that and where you should be sharing that information that you're learning so that you can build that digital footprint. That's so important. I'm going to talk about that in the learning lane, but make sure you download the ebook. That ebook is, again, it is your foundation. It's called Preparing You for Autonomous Trucks Entering into the Trucking Industry. And if you want to download it right now, I'll drop the link here. But that is a great place for you to just start in learning more about what is to come, learning more about that role shift, learning more about how you can start preparing and how you can uh, educate yourself on the future of trucking and transportation. So I'll share that link right here in the comments. Here we go. There you go. Download the ebook right now. So let's talk about an opportunity. I typically share during this segment a traditional truck driving job, but I also share jobs in the autonomy sector. And when I say the autonomy sector, I mean the self driving truck sector openings, because there are openings right now. And so this position is open in Palmer, Texas, and it's with one of the companies that I talked about a little bit earlier, Aurora Innovation. And it's a truck operations specialist one. And so Aurora, again, their tagline is that they're delivering the benefits of self-driving technology safely, quickly, and broadly to make transportation safer and increase accessibility and make it more reliable and efficient than ever before. That's their tagline. Um, but this is a night shift position. It's working Saturday through Tuesday. And in this role, you will safely pilot autonomous semi trucks. You'll safely pilot autonomous semi trucks. This is on their website. You can go look at it yourself. Um, they want you to remain alert and attentive while monitoring the Aurora driver during extended stretches of autonomy. Make sure that you share this live so that either you or your friends or anyone you know that's in this area, if they can qualify, I want them to apply for it. I want them to learn more about it. I want them to be there so that they can share the information, so that they can share their experience and their expertise. They need your expertise as a driver. They're software technicians, they're engineers, they've never been in a truck. So that's why you're so powerful. You have so much information and knowledge. And so remain alert and attentive. And this is one thing that I want to stop and sit here for a second and talk about. Because I think it's so important that as we see these self-driving trucks and the autonomy rolling out, I think it's really critical for us to understand that what you're doing now as a driver, the things that you're doing in the truck right now, as autonomy comes and is integrated more and more, what you're going to be doing is going to shift. What you're going to be doing is going to change. And so, them saying, staying alert and staying attentive while monitoring the Aurora driver, you need to understand what other things you need to be doing. It won't be scrolling on TikTok while you're sitting there monitoring that truck. If you're a scroller on TikTok or a scroller on Instagram or YouTube, um, and something happens, who's liable? 9 times out of 10, it's you. So that ability to continuously stay alert, that ability to stay attentive um, during these stretches of testing and things like that. Log real-time feedback regarding autonomy and the platform performance during the testing. This feedback is going to be delivered to their engineers. Like I said, you and your knowledge is valuable. What you know and what you can deliver back to the engineers, it's valuable. They need you. They're saying it in this role that they need you. Let me read that again so that you understand. Be able to log real time feedback regarding autonomy and regarding the performance of the platform during the testing phase, during the deployment phase, and understand that it's going to be going, that information is going to be delivered to their engineers. Like that says so much. That's that one little line in their job description says so much about the power that you have. Okay, it says so much about the power that you have as the expert in your field. And that's what you need to be. You need to be the expert. And being the expert means keeping your driving record clean, no safety terminations, no tickets, no accidents. It means being safe. If you want to be able to be a pioneer or a trailblazer in helping to helping the engineers to get this information, to giving them that real time feedback. You want to be a safe driver. They're not hiring anybody that's not a safe driver. Keep that in mind. Demonstrate positive impact at Aurora by working on cross-functional projects. Maintain up-to-date knowledge of how their self-driving technology works. Understand their daily software and operational changes. So software changes, the operation changes. You have to be adaptable. That has to be a characteristic that you have to have. Understanding the software, being adaptable, maintain up to date knowledge of how our self driving technology works. That's what it says. Work towards quantitative and qualitative goals. So, what that means is they're going to have a list of goals for you to achieve, metrics. And so you're going to have to work towards those goals to be able to help the company overall achieve its performance goals. So you have performance goals, and then the company has performance goals. Again, these are things that you are not accustomed to hearing and seeing as a driver out there. But that's why I'm here, so that I can share these things with you, so that you can understand what they mean when you go look at this job description for yourself. Interact with the public as an ambassador for Aurora. Interact with the public as an ambassador for Aurora. So you're sharing um, what's going on in the company from the standpoint of their goals. You're that face of the company. You're like LeBron James on the Lakers. You're the face of the company. Um, and so when you are that face, you have an image to uphold, and you have to have that professional image. And I'm going to talk about that in a learning lane. That you have to have that digital footprint. And so that's important. We'll talk about that here in a second. Let me stop and recognize some of the comments. S. Ross says it's almost like they will be a conductor of the autonomous trucks, like a railroad. Yeah, that's exactly what it's describing, like a conductor, like a pilot, essentially. But they're not on they're not in the airways like the pilots, and they're not on the train track like a guided train track. So it's a little bit different. It's not a little bit different. It's a lot of bit different. They're on a infrastructure. They're on a roadway where I'm driving next to them, or where my grandma's driving next to them. So it's a lot of bit different in that regard. But that's a great comment. I appreciate that. And then he said it also sounds like their pay should increase instead of staying the same. This is going to require a lot of knowledge. You have 100%. 100% as Ross. I love this comment, and I appreciate you saying that. And I want truck drivers to understand that it's important. Your pay should increase. Your pay should increase, because you're going to be who's guiding and overseeing and helping with the research and helping with the advising of this technology, because you know so much. Because you know so much. And that's why I say keep your driving record clean, keep everything clean. And so this was a description of the role that I just went over. So that was the description of the role, what you would do. And again, as you know, any job description, they don't give you everything in the job description. You're going to learn more as you go. You're going to get more on the job skills and things like that. And so this is just a high level guide. Now, let's look at the qualifications. And so in trucking currently, and I'm talking about the current state of trucking, we have qualifications that you have to meet. So there's a set of boxes, and these boxes and these check marks that you have to check off in trucking, they're essentially for the hiring guidelines of that particular company. So whatever the insurance for that particular company has set forth for them to the insurance and the FMCSA, Department of Transportation, whatever check boxes they've set forth, that's typically what your average truck driver, when they're going out for a job, if they meet all that criteria, they know that they're going to get hired on at that company. It's a whether I want that job or not decision at that point. If I meet all the requirements from the motor vehicle record, the MVR, if my DAC report is clean, if my PSP, my pre-employment screening report is clean, and there's so many different variables that each company has. They don't want you to have a certain amount of jobs in a certain amount of time period. So I have some companies that say no more than 3 jobs in the last year, an average of 4 months. So if you check all those boxes, right, you can guarantee that you got that job in the current state. That's the traditional truck driver. Now, the safety operator or the human operator or the pilot, whatever they're calling them in this particular role, they're calling them a truck operations specialist is what they're calling this particular role. There's an additional set of criteria that you have to meet. So they still have the boxes that we have as a normal trucking company, that a normal trucking company would have. They still have those boxes. So you got to have a clean MVR, a clean look. They say most trucking companies, they'll look at a blemish or two, a ticket or two, and even maybe an incident, which is like a fender bender inside of a private parking lot. They'll consider some of those things. In this instance, in the new future, you have to have a clean driving record with 0 violation points. So you see it right here. It says a clean driving record with 0 violation points. Of course, you got to have your Class A. They want 3 years of experience driving trucks commercially. The majority of our companies on our recruitment side, they want 3 months or 6 months or a year, and you're in there. In the future, they're looking for 3 years. They're looking for 3 years because by that 3-year mark, you've got it down. You've got the safety part down. You've made all your mistakes in that first, year or whatever, and you got all that out of the way because you were still learning. They want someone who is experienced and has learned and understands what it takes to safely and efficiently and effectively deliver goods across the country. Now, what else do you have to have? The ability to travel, got to be willing to work nights. These are all things that, traditional truck drivers are accustomed to. Ability to work nights. They know, you got to travel. Ability to work some overtime, weekends, ability to work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 80% of the shift time is spent in the vehicle. We already know that. Your vehicle is your office. You got to pass a pre-employment, post-incident, and random drug testing in accordance with the FMCSA. We already know that. You got to pass a DOT physical. That's, whether you're physically fit to be able to do this. The DOT physical is your medical card. We already know that. And then meet all the other DOT qualifications. These are things that we already know that you have to meet. Now, I want us to move into the desired qualifications. Because like I said, at current trucking companies, if you check all those boxes, if you meet all the required qualifications, there's very few desires. And most companies don't even have a desired list. They just, they meet the boxes, they check the qualifications. Let's bring them in. Let's get them in orientation. And so I believe that we're going to start seeing more and more desired qualifications in our new future. And so if you're new here, welcome. I'm Jerri Banks, and this is the Navigating the Future of Trucking and Transportation show. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you are connected with me across all of my platforms because I'm here every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday sharing this type of information with you and sharing tips and tools that you can use to stay ahead so that you don't get left behind, so that you're not like the last one learning about what's going on in this industry. And so let me get right back into what I called, and they call them too, the desired qualifications. These are desirables that companies want you to have. And this is Aurora that we're talking about. This is their truck operations specialist position, truck operations specialist 1. So there must be different levels. And we'll have to get Aurora on one day to talk about the roles and filling the roles and what they're looking for in an operations specialist, and how you, if this is something that you want to do in the future, how you can do this as well. So we'll see about getting Aurora on to be able to talk about this position, because I think it's a great position. I think it's a great way to get your foot in to the future. Now, their desired qualifications. So we've got truck driver trainer, or instructor experience. So I talk to so many drivers. And when we have instructor positions open, when we have opportunities where they can be a trainer or a mentor, the first thing that I typically get is, I don't want anybody in the truck with me, or, I don't want to do this, or, I don't want, I don't trust, anybody driving with me. But if you're the trainer, you've trained them. And I know that's coming from a recruiter, but I want to share how having that trainer experience, that instructor experience, that mentor experience, how that is a desirable in this new future. Because it shows that you can develop people. It shows that you're safe. It shows that you are, because your trainer, your mentor, your instructor, they're moving differently. They're thinking differently because they've got somebody watching them, and so they're training and they're safer. And it's a little bit different thought process when someone else is watching and learning from you. There's no shortcuts. There's no, going around and, skipping this step. You're doing every single thing exactly how it's supposed to be done, because that person that knows nothing about it, nothing about, this industry, they're brand new, they're off the streets, they're learning how to drive, they're watching you. And so your thought process is a little bit different as a driver trainer or as a driver mentor, or as a driver instructor. So when our company shares those opportunities for truck driver trainer or truck driver mentor or truck driver instructor, jump on them, because it looks good on your resume. It looks really good that you have taken the initiative to bring someone under your wing and help develop them. And then not just do it, but be able to talk about it, be able to verbalize in an interview the experience that you had as a trainer, as an instructor, or as a mentor. Now, the other thing, and this is one thing that I tell my son, because he has all the requireds. My truck driver son, not my aviation son, not my warehouse and logistics son. I'm talking about my truck driver son. He has and checks all the boxes when it comes to the required qualifications. The desirables, we're still working on those. He hasn't had enough experience to be a trainer yet. He's only got a year and a half. Um, I'm his guide. So I'm like, okay, you get a little bit more time under your belt, then you become the trainer. Then you become the mentor. And he's mentored, unofficially mentored some, that were brand new. So he can help the brand new driver. Um, and so, but this is on his career path that I have laid out for him. It's on his career path. Truck technician, that is on his career path that I've already created for him, because I need you to not only be able to drive that truck, but I need you to be able to fix that truck. And that's so important to me. Another desirable is having an inquisitive attitude, and being able to be interested in problem solving and solving puzzles. That shows that your brain is moving and you're thinking outside the box. Those are the desirables. Experience in operations and technology and customer service and the automotive field. Like, those aren't things that we're used to seeing on job descriptions for truck drivers. Those are totally not things we're used to seeing. Customer service. I don't think I've had, a company say much about customer service when I'm talking to the driver. And I'm not on the phones as much as I used to be. I may answer one or two or three a week, just to keep my skills sharp, and because I love talking to drivers. Most of the girls are just answering the phones. But when I do, I'm sharing that information. I'm saying, hey, you need to work on your customer service skills. You need to make sure that you are a great communicator. You need to be thinking about not just, you delivering and not just you driving. I need you to be thinking about and physically and consciously talking to the customer, building that relationship with the customer. And so I think that's very, very important. And I mean, honestly, I'm glad that these are some of the desirables, because I really think that elevates our industry to a different level. It elevates the trucking and transportation industry to another level. And so, one of the other things, let's look at the last few things, and then we'll move on to the learning lane. It's going to be a short learning lane because I've been talking. So the last few things I'll go over is proficient in G Suite. G Suite is Google, so that tells me that they use excuse me, they use Google, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms. G Suite is Google. And then interest and aptitude in for technology tools. So interested in apps and gaming and Adobe Creative Suite. All of these tools that you never would have thought you would need in as a truck driver, but you need these tools. That technology, you need to be technologically savvy. And if that's not you, then get on some apps. Find some apps where you can get on and play with. And if you're having trouble with ELD, you'll definitely have trouble with this. Okay. If you're having trouble with ELD, you'll definitely have trouble with this. So you need to be able to show that you're technologically savvy. So the hourly wage means you get paid for all the hours that you're working. From the time that you start to the time that you end, you're getting paid for an hourly wage. The hourly wage for this role that I've just talked about is between $28 and $36.50 an hour. And I'm pretty sure that it includes overtime. So if you're working overtime, they also it says the successful candidate will also be eligible for an annual bonus, equity compensation in the company, and benefits, and sleep in their own bed. That's another one that I wanted to share as well. So again, like I said, these companies need your expertise. They need your knowledge. These companies need your expertise. They need your knowledge. You see it right here in a job description for a truck operations specialist one, being hired by Aurora Innovation, who out of Palmer, Texas, near Dallas, who is integrating their self-driving technology into semi trucks. They partner with Volvo. So their technology will be going in Volvo trucks. And so each company is partnered with a different company. Torc is partnered with Daimler Truck, and Kodiak, I believe, has Freightliners. But each company is partnered with an OEM, with a manufacturer, a truck manufacturer, to be able to put their technology into the trucks. Now, let's move into the learning lane. In the learning lane, I share actionable tips and actionable tools so that you can put them in your toolbox. You can um, talk about them, share with them, and learn about them. When we come back, I'm going to share a tool, a tip that I need you to do right now.
Would you ever ride in a self driving car? I did, and it was exciting. It was a Waymo Jaguar, and it was very similar to setting up an Uber. The biggest thing I can say about this car is its safety. It wouldn't leave until I was buckled up. And then on the screen, I got to see cars that were next to us, on the side of us, and in front of us. This was exciting. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments.
Yes, that was my experience in a Waymo self-driving car in Phoenix, Arizona. If you have not, ridden in a Waymo robo taxi, they're called robo taxis. It's like a Uber, for example, but nobody's driving. And so that was my experience. That was my little trip. I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes, $5, maybe a couple dollars more. And it was in Phoenix, Arizona, on one of my aviation business consulting trips. Now, Waymo is in San Francisco. They are in Los Angeles. They are in Phoenix, Arizona, Austin, Texas. They're doing some things, and also I hear that they're looking into and getting over to Atlanta, Georgia, pretty soon. So, Waymo, check them out. Now, in the learning lane, again, the learning lane is where I share tips and tools and things that I think you need right now, need to do right now in order to prepare and to set yourself apart and stand out from everyone else in the industry. And the one thing that I want you to take away from today's show is that if you have not done this already, what you should have is a professional LinkedIn profile. If you've already got one, go ahead and drop it in the comments, share your link, or just, let us know you've already got one. I want to hear that, because LinkedIn is your place for professionals. It's your place where all of the key decision makers are. It's the place where your executives for the company that you work with are. It's the place where if you are a business and you want to do business with businesses and organizations, they're there, and I'm there. Make sure you follow me over there too. Now, LinkedIn is that professional place, and it sets you apart from those that, you know, don't have a professional image, and those that have not built and cultivated that professional image. And it's a great place for connections. I've met so many amazing people on LinkedIn. I've got invited to speak have speaking engagements. I've got invited to job fairs. I've got invited to so many and had so many different opportunities just from being on LinkedIn and connecting with individuals on LinkedIn. So, look, make sure that you have a professional image. You want to ensure that your profile is filled out completely, including a very professional photo. You want to ensure that your resume, your detailed work experiences, and all the skills that you've acquired over your career, they need to be there, right? And you want to engage in these groups and these industries. I know you're on Facebook and I know you're engaging over there, but I need you to come to LinkedIn. I need you to engage over there. I need you to participate in these discussions and share your insights, because sharing your insights, it helps you build professional credibility, and it helps you stay the expert. It helps you become the expert if you're not already the expert. But when you do that on LinkedIn, it's a whole nother ballgame. It's a whole nother world. And so I want to make sure that you have a LinkedIn, that you are following all the industry leaders. Look up the companies that I'm talking about, because you just never know when that opportunity may arise where you're invited to something, where you're asked to apply for a position because you've been engaging on posts, because you've been sharing valuable content, because you're participating in relevant conversations. All of those things helps to set you apart and helps you to stand out from everyone else. So again, build your LinkedIn profile. Come back and let me know that, hey, Miss Jerri, I've got my LinkedIn profile. I'm professional now. And then you can get endorsements. There's people that have endorsed me that I've never met, that I've never talked to. And the reason why they endorse me is because the information that I share is credible. Because the knowledge that I have, it's been beneficial to them. And then there are people in peers that I know and that I've worked with over the years that have come and say, yeah, she's the expert in this. Yeah, she can help you do that. And so having that professional LinkedIn image, it really sets you apart. And if you need help with your LinkedIn profile, look, you got two places you can go. You got YouTube University, go and search and look into that. But then you've also got me. If you need help with anything, send me a message, let me know. I would drop a comment on this video. I would love to help you build your LinkedIn profile, to build it out so that you are the expert, so that you are credible, so that you are sharing information and engaging in topics that matter and that are aligned with what you're looking for, with what your goals are. So, if you're new here, I want to thank you so much for being here. This has been a action-packed show with a lot of information. I know that sometimes, guys, the information that I share, it's like drinking water from a fire hose, not a regular water hose that I used to drink out of on the side of my grandma's house. I mean an actual fire hose, the fire hydrant that's like spewing out all the water, right? The information that I share, it's so much. I had a driver that I talked to the other day. He was from TikTok, and hello TikTok, hello everybody. But he was actually just calling to tell me thank you. Thank you for this information. And the one thing that he said is that the information that you share, most people would be charging for it. Most people would be making you pay for this information. And it's important to me that this information is free, because there's no other place that you can go to get this information. There's no other place. And so that's why it's important for me to share it with you. And I make my sons watch these same videos. So you're not alone. But he wanted to call to tell me thank you. He wanted to tell me thank you for sharing this information, because it's helping him get his mind right and get his mind ready and his educational skills ready for what is to come. Because at the end of the day is going to end, and we want to still be able to take care of our family and pay our bills and meet the commitments that we met. And we can only do that by leveling up, by continuously elevating and reskilling and upskilling and preparing for this new future. So again, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you are connected with me across all of my platforms where I'm talking about transportation, the future of transportation, helping you develop your business, aviation, like all of the things. And so I'm just so grateful for you. Make sure if you are watching this live, hello. If you're watching the replay, put #replay. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I will be again sharing knowledge and tools and information that you can use to stay successful. I'll see y'all later. Bye.